Hi, I'm Joe Ward of Boxer Shorts Media, and I have a question for you. Do you want to know who is ultimately responsible for poverty in the CBRM? It's the CBRM themselves, the Cape Breton Regional Municipality Mayor, Council, and Administration. That's who's responsible for the perpetuation of poverty in this municipality. What are one of the biggest expenses in our cost of living? It's housing. And how is the rental cost of housing decided? You have to cover the mortgage on your investment, and you have to cover the taxes. And in the CBRM, those taxes just so happen to be among the very highest in Canada. So the end result is that those taxes that are built into the price of rental are passed along to people in an area of the province with the lowest median income. On average, we earn less than people in our provincial capital, but we have to pay more in housing tax. And we have to stop thinking as though this is just affecting homeowners. It's not. It's bad enough on homeowners, but it is directly passed along to renters. That's why a lot of the development that occurs is focused on international students. You see advertisements that are recommending that they'll allow 2 students per room. Sometimes the affordability of these apartments is based on 4 or more students living there. And the students, who often come from other countries, don't have much recourse because they're left to compete for a very limited supply of housing. Now remember, once there's suddenly thousands of students arriving that need places to stay, local people that also need rentals have to compete for those same limited places. And of course, the investors realize that there's an opportunity to raise rents because the demand is higher. That's simple economics. Now the way to combat that is with supply. We need people building new homes and apartments. But when property taxes are so high, it disincentivizes this building behavior. We've had developers tell the CBRM directly, when they tell the seniors how much a duplex rental will be per month, they're appalled. And the reason they're appalled is because the rates are jacked up on this new development because of the very high taxes. They have to pass it along. Now we're in an unprecedented time where the level of interest for moving out of the city and areas of Canada that were hardest hit by the pandemic is very high. There's an opportunity there where in our province we held COVID infections pretty low. And the state of our local healthcare, which is a massive disincentive for anyone coming here, isn't as significant, especially for younger people, because their primary concern is to get away from hotbed areas of COVID-19. And the sudden acceleration toward remote work actually creates a new opportunity. Our economy that has such high unemployment suddenly doesn't need to support people economically from all the different places that they're coming. They can come here and bring their job with them, provided it has an option to work remotely. And that's increasingly an option for more and more people in this country. But how is our municipality actually attempting to compete for these people? They're searching for new places to live. How do we set ourselves apart? We need to seize this opportunity and give people a compelling reason to come here. We need to create a competitive advantage. We need to differentiate ourselves from other places in this country. And one way to do it is to actually collapse the taxes on new home development to zero. That's a pretty big competitive advantage if we undertake it. And then we phase the tax revenue back in a period of maybe 7 to 10 years. But what it does in the interim is give people a massive incentive to come here and build here. And when they're building here, they're creating trades jobs. We can help lift ourselves out of poverty. But without expansion of our tax base, more homes, more valuable homes to share these taxes that we must contribute to run the municipality, we are going to be stuck in this economic state for a very, 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 very long time. Now, some people believe that this container port development is a real thing, and for those, maybe they're optimistic that that'll have a significant impact. Others, like myself, don't really believe that's going to come to fruition whatsoever. And I can tell you, as much as I support the idea of a library, it is not going to have a dramatic economic effect across this municipality. What it will do is continue to provide services and assistance to the poor who are either in walking or transit distance to the library, and that definitely doesn't include all of this municipality. But my goal isn't to make it library versus development. It's just to emphasize that no matter what we do, if we don't change this economy, the basis of it, by making it affordable to build here and affordable to live here and to have enough people here that we can actually spark this economy and create some jobs, we're going to only decline. CBU and its growth of international students can only prop us up for so long. But as we've said with the housing issue, it also brings with it a major caveat. The CBRM has to do more than check a box. It just can't be a poverty summit for one day here and a poverty summit for one day there every other year. And it can't be pretending to support equalization, fairness when the cameras are rolling, but to really make a minimal effort and not do much advocacy beyond that. In my mind, mayor and council get a very low grade in terms of their support and advocacy for equalization fairness. And don't think for a minute that the $15 million in extra revenue that's coming from Tim Houston is because of this council. That $15 million is coming because of the Nova Scotians for Equalization Fairness Group. They did the work, they kept the issue prominent, they put the pressure on politicians, and their message got across. And while they'll absolutely tell you that they don't believe on any day of the week that $15 million is even close to enough, it was their work that brought something to this municipality. It was not this council. But here's the thing about poverty, and here's the thing about economic development. Have you heard anything from the CBRM about how they're going to use this money to work against poverty or to promote economic development that is really tangible? Sure, they mentioned paying down debt or building the library, but Cecil Clark had a policy of paying down debt. It didn't change anything economically over the 8 years that he was here. That investment has to be leveraged in a way that can pick us up out of this. Even with the development activity that's happening now with downtown Sydney and the Marconi, or investors that are trying to build some housing to accommodate the demand from international students, even with that development, it's not enough because we've fallen so far behind. We can't build at a pace quick enough to build that tax base up to get us out of this situation. Maybe people won't like my idea about reducing taxes on new development to zero and phasing it back in. Maybe they'll think it's not really feasible. Maybe I must be missing something in the details. But here's the thing. That's the type of plan that we should be expecting our CBRM mayor and council and administration to be figuring out, because they have to have a path forward to lift us up out of this situation in a viable way. There has to be some ideas there. And at this time, there's no indication that any type of thinking like that is present. So how are they going to use that $15 million? In what way is it going to affect poverty here in the CBRM? In what way is it going to positively impact our economy or our housing situation? Or is it going to slide into the CBRM accounts and then we'll hear a series of staff wage increases? For the time being, I think it's pretty clear. If you want to know who's responsible for the perpetuation of poverty in the CBRM, it's the CBRM itself. Now tell me what you think in the comments, and I'd be really interested if you have any unique ideas on how to combat poverty or promote economic development in the CBRM. And while you're at it, tell me if you think the container port opportunity is real or not.